10 years later, Rhaenyra navigates Alicent's continued speculation about her children, while Daemon and Laena weigh an offer in Pentos. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today I'll be reviewing House of the Dragon Episode 6. So 10 years have passed, and we see that Sir Cole is not Rhaenyra's protector anymore, which I thought was very interesting, as he was loyal to her up until he ended up taking Joffrey's life. I believe that's his name, because that's who their son is named after in this episode, their third son. But we also get to see that Alicent and him are trying to show Rhaenyra's transgressions, because she gave birth to a third son in this episode, and he doesn't have white hair. Like, none of her kids have white hair, and everybody pretty much is like, yeah, they look like the City Watch commander's kids, you know, they look like him and stuff. So she's been trying to deal with that, saying that they're not his. But, I mean, it's kind of obvious, especially when we see Daemon and his kids. They all have white hair like the Valerians and Targaryens do. So this is really good. We really get to see that Alicent took her father's words to heart, too, and that she is trying to prepare her son, Aegon, to rule. But he's kind of a, I don't even know what you want to say. He's kind of like an idiot almost, but not even. He doesn't care because he doesn't think he's going to be king or something. That's kind of what the impression I get from him, because he's very arrogant, and he just is like, oh, I don't even care, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just like, dude, what is going on? So with this kid. So all the kids are really kind of interesting in this. Even though they are young, they just act really kind of weird in this. But we also get to see that her and Cole are still not over what they see as Rhaenyra's betrayal to them. You know, like, I get it. You know, when she was confronted, she was like, no, I didn't do anything with Daemon, and she didn't. So she didn't really lie, but she didn't say that she did anything with Cole either. So, yes, it is kind of like, hey, you know, I'm not going to rat out this dude because I don't want to be disgraced, and I don't want him killed, because she cared about him. And Alicent really took that to heart, but then Cole wanted her to run away with him so they could get married, and she was like, no, I can't do that, I have duties. And he was like, well, the heck with you then, because he was all heartbroken and hurt over that. So it's very interesting to see all of this. And we even get to see a little more when Rhaenyra has a proposal for Alicent that her son Jacaerys, I'm gonna mispronounce his name, and Helena get married, and Alicent is like, yeah, I don't think so, but she doesn't really say that. She just kind of walks away. So I thought it was very interesting. And then we get a sparring session in this, and the sparring incident is brutal, meaningful, and pushes the characters and plot forward. Like, I really liked this, because we see that, again, Aegon is really showing off his skills to the other kids, like his younger brothers and Rhaenyra's kids, who are much younger, so they haven't had that much training like that. And we see that Cole is really kind of brutal on them, and having, like, Aegon and them really kind of bully Rhaenyra's kids around a little bit, and Harwin kind of takes that he takes it really bad, because then he's like, you know, is this what you're teaching these kids, is to be brutal and, you know, not to really be good people? And Cole's like, oh, well, you know, and he goads Harwin into showing that he might be Rhaenyra's kids' fathers, because he's like, oh, you know, taking interests like this would be like a cousin or a brother or a son. And, you know, of course, Harwin gets all upset and beats on him, which shows he really does have more of an interest in these kids than just is what's normal. So I really, really thought that was good because we're also seeing these kids start to have grudges against each other too because of their parents pushing that on them. Instead of trying to all get along, they're pushing these kids to do the same thing as that what they're doing, which I thought was very interesting, and it shows how petty people can be in this. But then there's Larys Strong. He's the son of the Hand, and he's been scheming with Alicent for quite a while, we see. And he's kind of put his chips on Alicent winning this fight and everything between her and Rhaenyra. But we see it like when he's eating dinner with her one night. She says that she wishes her father was there because then he'd be on her side. And so he kind of takes that as he needs to go and do something about that to get her father back for her. And later, he recruits some men, and they go and burn down the keep where his father and brother are, at killing them both. So I was like, and when he's explaining this to Alicent, she's just shocked because she's like, I never wanted that. And he's like, yeah, but you did. You made a wish. I made it happen. And now I'm going to get a really good reward. And she's backed in a corner and he knows it. So he's scheming more than just what he's been with her, which I was like, that's awesome. And that brings me to, there are there's shades of gray rather than clear cut black and white stuff in this. For motives, for all the different characters and everything. And I like this because it's really compelling, and it shows things are not as clear cut as they seem, and you don't really know what people are scheming with each other, like, with, on their own versus with, like, each other, like Alicent and Larys. He's literally scheming something else to get more out of her, and she didn't even think about it or know it. So all these different characters have their own motivations, and they're just kind of using each other to further those motivations. And really, this really shows, and it's really good, like, unlike, I hate to even compare it, but I do, but the Rings of Power has no writing compared to this. I mean, it's a huge difference, which is really crazy. And the plot in this, like, you don't have any clue what these people are plotting, and it really, really goes to show that it's really good. I really do enjoy that part of this show. But meanwhile, you have Daemon and Laena in Pentos, and they're entertaining, Daemon is entertaining staying there, but Rhaenyra ends up giving birth to her third child, but there's a problem. So the baby isn't coming out, so they're really kind of at a loss, and they're like, well, I don't know what else to do other than try to cut the baby out, but we don't know if either one's going to survive. And, we don't know if the baby will survive or not. And Damien's like, well, the mother? And they're like, no. Instead of being like, sure, they're like, absolutely not. So he's put in the same predicament as in, the very first episode with his brother. The same thing. But she goes and decides to take the warrior's way out and die as a dragon rider. And when Damien's trying to find her to, basically see what's going on and stop her, he's very heartbroken about what happened to her, watching her die like that. And I thought that was very, very good because, again, Matt Smith is just amazing in this, in this series and stuff. But really, I think Larys, Alicent, and Rhaenyra were actually really good in this as well. Cole wasn't bad either. All the characters were really good in this one. There was really no super standouts in this, but again, this was amazing. So the Alicent versus Rhaenyra feud is heating up, and this ends up making Rhaenyra's flee to Dragonstone so she can kind of figure out what to do next, even though she's leaving Alicent there to poison her father against her. She's still trying to scheme and figure something out, which I thought was actually pretty good too, because she's finally taking a step back from all the different politics and going from there. So I can't wait to see the next episode in this because I want to see where this is going. I want to see where the plot takes everybody next and who's scheming for what. This is really good so far. I'd give this at least a 7.5, 8 out of 10 easily. A little bit slower, stepped back, but we're mid-season and we're also recasting everybody. So it's kind of like a whole new pilot going on. So they had to step back and take the plot a little bit slower to make it move forward, which was awesome in this case. So if you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Take care for now, everyone.